So Paige Bueckers was the first pick in the WNBA draft. Should she have been? I don't know. I made plenty of videos saying that for me, I would have taken Dominique Malonga. I made plenty of videos saying that there's only one generational player in the WNBA draft, and it is Dominique Malonga. The Paige is really, really good, but I just think you can't pass up on Dominique Malonga. And it appears that at WNBA GMs thought the exact same thing. Because 60% of WNBA GMs, in fact, said the best player in 5 years from this draft class is going to be Dominique Malonga. The majority of GMs chose number 2 Dominique Malonga, not Paige Bueckers. And I'm not joking when I say this, saying that Dominique Malonga is going to be better than Paige Bueckers in 5 years. In 5 years' time, Dominique Malonga's 24 years old, and Paige Bueckers is 28 years old. So Dominique Malonga will have still not entered her prime in 5 years, and Paige Bueckers will be kind of at her prime, if not kind of at the tail end of her prime. And it really is a shock to see. And not only that, we saw a other answer that completely just changed the way I thought that people view Dominique Malonga. They literally said, multiple GMs said that Dominique Malonga was the steal of the draft. She was taken 2. Do you want to know how a number 2 overall can be a steal of the draft if you believe they should have gone number 1? And not only that, you believe it was a no-brainer to take them at number 1. And again, the fact that almost all the GMs, obviously not involving, and this doesn't involve the Storm, it does not involve the Wings, were all saying, well, most of them said that in 5 years' time, Dominique was going to be better than Paige. And ironically, if in 4 years' time, Dominique is better than Paige is right now, they're the same age. And that's one of the things that people don't get with these international prospects. They're like, oh, these players don't come over as rookies. Like, yeah, if they don't come over for 3 years, they're still going to be younger than the rookies coming in. Like, we saw Zay Green, who's 25 years old. She's 25. And we saw her in coming out of college, and people are like, oh, someone cut a young player, and it's like, oh, but they bring in a Cole McCanny who's 23, and it's, oh, there's no young players. Like, a Cole McCanny and Janelle Salone are only a couple of months older than Caitlin Chen. And, well, Janelle Salone's only a couple of months. And everyone being like, oh, the Valkyries got rid of all their young players to bring in veterans from overseas. And I'm like, Janelle Salone's 3 months older than Caitlin Chen. And they were using Amiher. I'm like, Janelle Salone's younger than Letitia Amiher. She's younger than her. But again, people just can't read. People just can't read stuff. And even when it comes to Amiher, obviously, if they had signed her 4th-year option, they either had to guarantee her money by today, or she'd be an unrestricted free agent, cut her instead. I still don't think it's it's an additional factor, but either way, I think that you're seeing more and more WNBA teams seeing overseas and are like, how much of an advantage or how advantageous those draft and stashes can be. And for people being like, oh, if a player can't go, why are they drafted? Let's be real. There was talk of Luka Doncic being a draft and stash. There was talk of, Dario Saric was a draft and stash. And again, I understand Dario Saric was nothing special, but Dario Saric, considering the fact that he was really good as a rookie and he was decent early in his career, and where he was taken, he wasn't a bad pick. I'm trying to think of who else has been drafting stashes. Manu Ginobili was a drafting stash. There's been a lot of players that have been stashed overseas, especially if they play as locals in those leagues in the NBA. And it makes sense, especially if there was an NBA rule that no teams where if you went to college, you had to do all 4 years. If that was an NBA rule, which people are wanting it to come in, if there was an NBA rule that if you went to college, you had to do all 4 years, but if you were European and you played pro, you didn't have to do all 4 years, you would literally see so many more draft and stash players. You'd see so many more. But, yeah, it's for me, it's more so just not even a knock on Paige Bueckers. It's just how good Malonga is as a prospect and how good some of these players. Like some people said Kosu was a steal because again, how good Kosu is as a prospect. Like you're looking at these players that are freshmen in college and you're like, okay, yeah, these players are freshmen in college and they are like, they're stars. They're absolute like stars as freshmen in college, but then they need another 3 years of development, which is obviously in a lot of cases good. Or you can sign a player if they're overseas that's a freshman in college, and maybe by the time it's their junior year, they're going to be absolutely fantastic. And that seems to be the case with Malonga. And I think it's more so a case of Dominique Malonga being that level of prospect more so than like Paige being a bad prospect. Because I don't think Paige is a bad prospect, but can't forget Paige is 23 years old. Like Paige Bueckers is almost as close in age to Aja Wilson as she is to Dominique Malonga. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, Paige Bueckers is closer in age to Arike than she is to Malonga. And Arike is in year 7. Paige Bueckers is like 18 months younger than Ezi Magbagor, who's going into year 7. So there is an age factor there, and I think, obviously I don't think teams are regretting it, but I think there are teams that are like, you know what, we're happy we didn't have to make that decision, because we would have taken Malonga and we would have wanted Malonga. And I think there are teams and there are executives that are happy they didn't have to make that decision, because I do think it was one of those ones where if you don't take Paige Bueckers, like, your fan base will never forgive you. And that's just the thing when it comes to a lot of these teams, when there is a clear cut like person at number 1. If your fans are taken into account, which is why you see like the Phoenix Suns didn't even look at Luka Doncic, because the "I don't give a damn about this kid from Europe" speech. Because it does matter. What your fans' reaction is going to matter. Like we saw it again with the Luka trade, with everything. It's like you don't want to piss off your fans, and we heard it from GMs themselves that it seems like the majority would have taken taken Dominique Malonga in this scenario. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Would you take Paige, or would you have taken Dominique Malonga if you had a choice? But anyway, I'll see you guys.